one with another. And I want to ask you a favor, if you would. First of all, welcome all of you who are here and those of you at home. But I need a favor. I'll just go ahead and start off asking you for a favor. And the whole lesson today is about give, but I'm wanting to take. I need you to give me something. And I want you to share this page, Renew Recovery Community. I want you to share it with somebody. So you may want to wait till the end and share it, or you may want to reach out and call somebody and say, hey, there's a program on right now that I need you to listen to and watch. So tonight we're going to talk a little bit about this one four-letter word, give. And recovery, and as I'm talking tonight, we're all at a different place in our recovery, in our journey. Some of you are not even started. Many of us have been through it and for years, and we keep going back to different parts of it. But as something magical happens, we kind of talked about that a little bit last week, that something happens somewhere along our journey as we work through the principles, that we get to a point where we have received a lot from others, and we've learned a lot, and at some point we suddenly go, wow, wait a minute, it's time for me to start giving back. Last week we talked a lot about gratitude, being thankful for the things that we have received, and that this is going to kind of be a continuation of that. One way we can give back to others, and we're going to talk a lot about that, about different ways and what we can do. One of the ways we can do is we can live this out. And this is our mission statement here at Renew Recovery Community. And it says our mission is to be a Christ-like fellowship where the lost and lonely, needing, hurting, and suffering people in our community will be accepted, can experience sustained recovery from brokenness, and can renew through God's grace. That takes action. That's not just a bunch of words. We really try to believe that and live that out and walk that out. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight. But for tonight, there's a big difference between give and take. Now let's just be really honest. Let's stop for a moment and be honest. Those of us who have been in recovery or addicted to anything over a period of time have been on the take side. We've been on the take side for a long, long time. We take. We look for ways to get something from somebody without having to give something back. But we want to try to change that a little bit. We have taken because, honestly, we have felt pretty entitled. And somebody owes me something. And really, nobody really owes us anything. Why would we give back? If we have been in a mindset for many, many years, gimme, why would we want to suddenly give back? There's a lot of reasons. We're going to get into some of those a little bit deeper as we go along, but giving back, no matter where you are in your recovery, whether it's you haven't even thought about it yet, you haven't started, or you're already through step 12. Giving back gives us a sense of fulfillment, a sense of gratitude, a sense of now it's my turn to do something for somebody else. It helps us to gain some new perspectives on our own struggles that we've had, because as I look around the room here, every one of us go through struggles. And of course, our struggles are always deeper than somebody else's. That's just the way we think. It's all about us. We are at the point in and I said last week, we're about to turn the corner. We're turning the corner, and we are. Because now we're moving to Principle 8. And Principle 8 says, yield ourselves to God to be used to bring the good news to others, both by our example and by our words. And that's what we're going to do as we talk about giving. As we start giving back to others, you don't only do that with your words. You know, how many times have people said a lot of words to you? tried to tell you what you could do to make ourselves better, to change. And did we even hear those words? We may have heard them, but they went in here and went out there, and we never listened to them. But see what I'm saying to you, as we give back, and as it said in that principle, both by our example and our word. You know, you've heard it said, a picture is worth what? And so when you example something to someone, not by, you need to do it this way, but not even saying that, just living it out, walking it out. That's what I'm talking about, being an example for somebody else. They see you. You don't have to say anything about it. They will see you doing it differently. They will see your life changed. They will see you walking beside them. They will see you lifting them up and supporting them. They will see you and feel you holding them accountable with love. In Christian love, they will do that. There's a biblical comparison for this principle, and it is happy are those who are persecuted because they do what God requires. Matthew 5:10. So some of you are going, wait a minute. So are you telling me that when I give to somebody, I'm going to be persecuted for it? Well, here's the facts, guys. Sometimes that's what's wrong with this world. Sometimes when we do the right thing, the right way, we're going to get chastised for it. In that case, we're going to be persecuted for it. We're going to be put down. We're going to be shamed. But that's okay. Because the one that's keeping score, we're ahead. Yeah. We're ahead. So, how does giving back help us? Because that's what we're all about. We are concerned with everybody else, but when it comes down to it, we're still a sinful human creature. And we're worried more about, well, what about me? So how does this help us as we move forward? What are some of the things that it does for us as we give back? Well, one of the things it does is it reinforces our sobriety. How does that work? Well, when you're doing something for someone else, it suddenly takes your mind off of who? Us. It takes our mind away from our triggers, the things that gets us upset, our cravings, that might, when we have those triggers and cravings, that so many times leads us back down the wrong path. So if we're giving, serving, helping others, boy, I love I wasn't expecting the Super Bowl commercials about God. And we're talking about, and here, what are they talking about? We're supposed to go around washing people's feet? If that's what you thought, you missed the whole point. It's about serving others, about giving to others, about helping others that are hurting, that are in need. You've been on the other side of that before. Every one of us have. When we've been hurting, when we've been downtrodden, when we need somebody to come and wash our feet, to serve us, to help us. So, when it reinforces our sobriety, it's really helping us to stay focused on something else rather than ourselves. It also builds self-esteem. When we help others, it fosters a positive self-image. It makes us feel valuable. I don't know about you, but for me, many times I felt that I had absolutely no value. I was absolutely no good. Nobody cared about me. I was singing that song. Have you ever sang it? Poor, poor, pitiful me. You sang that one? It was the same song, just different verses all along. But when we do that, when we are building our self-esteem by helping others, it makes us feel valuable. It makes us feel worthy. And it empowers us to do more than we ever thought that we could do. It also, when we give, It gives us a purpose. We wake up excited about it. When somebody walks in our path that needs the help and we were able to help them, it gives us a purpose. Volunteering or mentoring somebody gives us a whole different sense of purpose, of meaning, of direction in a different direction than we've been going. It develops empathy. When we start to give back, we start to understand things a little differently. We, instead of thinking about us, instead of looking in the mirror and just seeing us, we look out and we see others. And we realize it's not just us that are having a bad day, a bad year, a bad life. There are others out there, and we begin to empathize with them. We become compassionate to their needs and their struggles. We begin to actually look, instead of just through our eyes, we step back and we look through the eyes of others and see what they may be feeling. Think about what they may be going through. Think through their heart of what's going on in their life. When we give, it also can help us develop new skills. Because sometimes you're going to be doing things that you will enhance or better build your social skills and your practical skills. Social skills in that we have been so used to isolating ourselves. I'm totally always amazed to watch folks come in here, my brothers and sisters come in here, and the first time they come in, they want him to look up. Remember when you came first time? Yeah, how are you? And then over a course of time, suddenly they raise up, suddenly their eyes are clear, and suddenly, before you realize it, they start giving back, and they're not seated out here or back here. They're standing here telling their story. They're giving back. So they develop skills, because so many times when that person that's up here giving their testimony, and I said, well, have you ever had an opportunity to say, oh man, I can't go. Public speaking, I don't do that. So you're developing even that. You're developing a new skill. And most of you say, well, no, I can't public speak. Oh, you've never spoken to anybody in your life? You've never walked up to somebody and said, well, hello? I said, that you've spoken. Did you do it in public? Well, yeah. It's out there in the parking lot. Well, that's public speaking. Mm-hmm. So you develop these kinds of things. We begin to do things when we give back that we never thought we could do. We never thought we'd have an opportunity to do. It also promotes gratitude. We talked a lot about that, so I'm not going to go into it in great depth, but we talked about gratitude last week. And giving back helps us to be grateful. Grateful for, because you see somebody you're giving to, walk with me. You see somebody you're giving to that is right where you were. Now that will make a person grateful that we're no longer there and we can help them. It also fosters our personal growth. It gives us an opportunity to examine and change our attitudes and our behaviors when we give back. We got to think about what we're doing. It develops responsibility. Because we suddenly, when we start to give back, do you just give to be giving, or do you give because you care? And if you're giving because you care, that's a whole different kind of thing, see? Then we're becoming responsible to an extent for that individual. We're going to help them to change, hopefully. Okay, let me rephrase that, because we can't do anything. There's a power much higher than us that's going to work through us to help that individual change. It's going to promote healing. When you give back, see what we have to do. And we're always saying, we can't look in the mirror. You can't drive down the interstate looking in the rearview mirror. But there is always a connection. We have to connect the past with the present. And as we connect the past with the present, it will affect the future, but we can't worry about the future because what we've got is this, wait a minute, right here, this next breath. That's all I got. Right now. It expands our connections. When you volunteer, you're going to come in contact with a lot of different people. As I said at the outset, we have in our past tried to isolate ourselves. We try to get away from everybody. And when we expand our connections, that reduces these feelings of isolation. It reduces the need for isolation. Isolation, my friends, is an absolute trigger for relapse. Recovery was never meant to be done alone. Never. You can't do it. It's not a good thing. And it provides some distractions. When you participate in activities, especially with other people, it can, if you do the right activities, be a distraction and take us away from those negative thoughts, those negative cravings. It provides us with something constructive to do with our time. We at Renew use acrostics. An acrostic is a poem or a word puzzle in which certain letters of that word or that line form words or phrases. And I'm going to use an acrostic tonight to help teach the lesson a little bit that you can visually connect with. I'm an old teacher. Okay, I'm a teacher that is seasoned. I'm not an old teacher. I used to teach. Let me say it that way. I used to be a teacher. I guess I still teach. But what I learned was this, that people learn differently. There are different learning styles. Some of us learn by hearing, auditory. Some of us verbal. We have to, say it, do it. Some of us write it down. We have to see it written here on the board. And some of us, like me, they're kinesthetic learners. That means I got to hear it and see it, but I've got to do it. And it's always what I found when I was teaching that most of us are many of those that's kind of blended together. Most people are not just one learning style. So what I'm saying to you is when we give, we're doing the kinesthetic. We're putting it into practice, what we're doing. So we're going to use this, wasn't that fancy? We're going to break this down in acrostic for give. I don't know what happened to that. It just, the G stands for God first. God's got to be first. I'm going to break these down a little bit more in a minute. The I stands for I, but it becomes we, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. V is for victory shared, and the E is for example, your actions. Actual example. So if you'll bear with me just a second, then I'm going to break these down just a little bit as we go along. First one was God first. If we think that we can do recovery alone, we're kidding ourselves. As I said before, it's not meant to be done alone. And it absolutely is meant for us to do it together. But there's one, because I can't fix anything. There are people come in that door and want us to fix them. We may have come in the door going, I need to be fixed. Sorry, buddy. Let me give you a hammer. Maybe you can do it. Maybe that can help you. Yes, the screwdriver, because you're nuts. No, I wouldn't. We're all nuts. We all must have God in our life. We've got to have that higher power. Because without that we can't do it. We can't live life. Our lives were bought with a price. Our lives were bought with the price of Jesus, his very own life. And when we place him first in our lives, that's when, hear me now, folks, when we put Jesus first in our lives, that's when we can finally experience some freedom from the things that have been holding us down and just kicking us in the gut for so long. We can finally start experiencing freedom, some joy, and some good things that he has in store for us as we go along. In Matthew 10:8b, it says, freely you have received, freely give. You didn't go to the store and pick up these things that have been given to you. They were given to you freely through mercy and his grace. I personally feel, well, okay. He gave them to me freely, but now it's not that there's an expectation as such, but I have a desire to now share that with somebody else. And I think that's really important for us, because if we have a restored, check this, renewed life, then we want to do some things like that. We want to do some things. The I, which stands for I and give, really becomes we. Life, as I said earlier, is not meant to be lived in isolation, whether you're in recovery or not. We should not be thinking about going to hitting the hills and the mountains and living alone as a hermit. Especially in the road to recovery, it's not meant to be traveled alone. Actually, when we travel it alone, that's kind of a sense of selfishness, really. Mm-hmm. And there is no selfishness in the life of a believer. It's about giving back. Most of our lives, for most of us, it's about having been in control or trying to be in control, always being right, thinking we don't need anybody else but ourselves, and being isolated from everybody in the world. I want you to take note of what it says in Proverbs 16:18. I love Proverbs. Pride comes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. So many of us do stupid stuff just from the standpoint of pride. Pride causes us to fall a lot. In Ecclesiastes 4:9-12. And this is why you want to the I needs to become we. Two are better off than one, because together they can work more effectively. If one of us falls down, the other can help pick him up. But if someone is alone, there's no one to help him. Two can resist an attack that would defeat one man alone. Have you ever been tempted? Have you ever been tempted and been alone? The likelihood is, if we're tempted and we're alone, we'll succumb. Thank you, God, for putting people beside me when I am tempted, that they can help me. They can pick me up. They can hold me accountable. They can encourage me. They go, well, okay, why don't we go do something different? Why don't we turn our attention somewhere else? And then get your mind off of those things. Who is that person for you? Who is that, when it's been I, who is that we? Who's that person for you? If you don't know, figure it out pretty quick. If you do know, write it down. They may not even know that they're your person, your guy, your girl. Let them know how thankful you are for them and what they do for you. Who could that be? Well, it could be your sponsor. It could be your significant other. It could be your accountability partner. It could be your spiritual guide. Whoever it is that walks beside you to keep you from being alone. Remember, not only are they supporting you, but you're supporting them. Because just because you've just started your recovery and just started this journey, and they've been through the 12 steps 754 times. Okay, maybe not 754, maybe 753, but a lot. Do you think that makes them not susceptible to temptation? No. So it goes both ways. We support each other. It's not about me. Now it's about we together. The V stands for victory shared. Early on, as we started tonight, we were talking about that we receive much. And when we receive much, much is required. Boy, it sounds kind of scriptural. It's time that we give back the knowledge that we have received as we move along our journey. Have any of you learned anything as you've traveled this road of recovery? Some of them have been very hard lessons. Some of them have hurt. Some of them left some scars. But because you have learned and you've come through it, that's a victory to me. Some of you may be even saying out there right now, well, I don't have any victories. Well, that's a lie. Because if you're sitting there or here and breathing and you've come through it this far, that's a victory, folks. And you do have a victory. And many of you, you can point to the things that you have come through that are true victories. The things we've been given. 2 Corinthians 1, first chapter, verses 3 and 4 says, let us give thanks to God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the merciful Father, the God from whom all help comes. It didn't say that all help comes from aisle 3 in the Dollar Tree, did it? It said that all help comes from the Father. He helps us in all of our troubles so that we are able to help the boy. I like this part. Listen, cue in on this. He helps us in all of our troubles so that we are able to help those who have all kinds of troubles. There's a plan, folks. God did not lay all this badness on us. This was on us. We made the decisions. But he sometimes allows these things to happen. Does he have the power to keep them from happening? I believe that. But does he allow it to happen sometimes? Absolutely. And it may be part of the plan. Because what you have gone through and what you know and what you have learned may be the very thing that saves somebody else's life if you will take the time to share it. Because I promise you, God is putting people in our paths every day. When we least expect it, boom, there they are. And they're going through the same thing. You just start talking with somebody, and suddenly they start telling you what they're going through, and you go, whoa, wait a minute, I just went through that. And you're able to share with somebody. You're able to connect with somebody. And that's what God is saying here. He helps us in all our troubles so that we're able to help those who have all kinds of troubles, using the same help that we ourselves have received from God. What a beautiful, beautiful thing that is. As believers, we are and should be united in our faith. We share each other's hurts. We share each other's burdens. But we can share each other's victories as well. When we share our story about what God has done for us in this life and as we've gone along, that's a pretty powerful message. What each of you, some of you say, I hear you sometimes say, well, I don't have a story. Yeah, you do. Because when I hear you talk, you know what that sounds like to me? For others that are not where you are, that sounds like hope. That absolutely sounds like hope. For me, I'm a visual person. And there are people that you're talking to that, you know, you hear all the time about the light at the end of the tunnel. I can finally see the light at the end of the tunnel. There are people that have no hope. They can't even see the tunnel, much less the light. And you can be that hope. You can be that light and help them as they go along. The last part of this on the give is example your actions. Words are pretty cheap. unless they're followed up by your actions. Words just become noise unless there's action to it. 1 John 3:18 tells us that it's not just about our talk, but it's about our walk. 1 John 3:18, my children, our love should not be just words and talk. It must be true love. True love, which shows itself in action. You know, there's a four-letter word that is so overused in our society today. Starts with an L, ends with an E. It's got an OV in the middle of it. Love. You know? It's overused. We say it so much, but do we mean it? Do we act it out? Do we follow it up with our actions and show them, whoever it is, what real love means? Going the extra mile for somebody. We are to be doers of the word in all aspects of our life, and not just when we feel like that we're going to benefit from it. We don't do that. We don't. You ever give a present to somebody with the expectation that you're going to give something back? Do you ever say something to somebody, I love you, waiting to hear it back? We do it with expectations. And that's not really what doers of the word is all about. There's not a duty for them to have to give anything back in return. It's us giving freely. So we have to ask ourselves some questions. Well, how can we be doers of our work in our home, at our work, in our recovery group, in our relationship, in our community? We got our work cut out for us, guys. There's no place, the best place to start is by taking that first step. Whether we're talking about giving, or we're talking for some of you starting your recovery tonight, right now, this moment, making that decision that I'm so tired of being tired. I don't want to live like this anymore, but I can't do it myself. I have a problem with whatever it is, fill in the blank. And that's the point when we take off the mask. That's the first step. That's the hardest step. Because you see that for most of us, that mask, you remember when you were little and you had those, they got some great costumes now that you put on, but it used to be when you just had the mask and you had that little elastic band. You remember those? And you had to try real hard not to break it, or you have to figure it out. Or duct tape it around your head, I guess. But that's the problem. Think of it as that little elastic band, because the hardest part is to take the mask off for your recovery. But the problem is we leave the elastic band on. So we take it off and then it goes back on. Take it off, it goes back on. Keeps popping us right back in the face.
That's a great analogy.
So we have to take that off. And that might be what you're doing tonight. Saying, I'm tired. I'm tired of acting. I'm tired of being in a play and trying to present what I think somebody else wants to see. I want to be real. I want to be me. But I need help. I can't do it by myself. And if that's where you are tonight, I hope that you will comment and let us talk with you more about it. Because we're there. It's not about us. We do not have the answers. We can't fix you. But we know someone who will, and we will walk with you as we together try to do this. And we will try our best to example our actions to show you how it has worked for us and what didn't work. So we'll do that. And there's no time to start any better than right now. So now I want to ask them. They've been around. What's your name? It's been so long. Chris and Daryl have been away on tour. I think y'all were touring with Taylor Swift in that whirlwind tour. I don't know, but they've been away for a while, and I'm going to tell you, we've missed them greatly because they are brothers in Christ. And I'm going to ask you guys to come up and share what's on your heart and sing a song for us. Close us out.
It's always a blessing to be here. And I had to go pull up my phone and look up those verses because, you kept saying, be doers, but also where it comes from is in James 1, I believe, verse 22 is what I saw. It says, but don't just be here. It says, be doers and not just hearers unless you fool yourselves. Since this is all about giving, just like you said, to much is given, much is expected. To least is given, least is expected. The point of this, whatever you're giving, you're supposed to take that and do something with it. It's hard to do anything with something that you're given unless you're willing to give it back to someone else. So. When the best of me is barely breathing, when I'm not somebody I believe in, hold on to me. When I miss the light, the night is stolen, when I'm slamming all the doors you open, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. When I don't feel like I'm worth defending. When I'm tired of all of my pretending. Hold on to me. When I start to break the desperation underneath the weight of expectation, hold on to me. Hold on to me. Hold on to me when it's too dark to see you. When I am sure I have reached the end. Hold on to me when I forget I need you. When I let go, hold me again. I could rest here in your arms forever, 'cause I know nobody loves me better. Hold on to me. Hold on to me. Right now, that may be the one thing that you're saying right now, is hold on to me. That may be the one gift that you can give to somebody, is holding on to them. The one thing normally that you need the most is the one thing you're not giving. If there's a moment that you could just stop and think what it is you truly need, the first thing I would tell you, if you don't know Him, you need Him, is is Jesus. Because that right there is the path that leads to all answers and understanding that you'll ever need. And without that, you'll never be able to give like you need to. Because we have to know where it starts at, how to give and why to give. We just thank you for allowing us to be here.
Amen. You're supposed to come back next week, be with us, and don't forget to like and share our page. We're every Monday night at 6 o'clock. We have food. A lot of times it's donated by Donna's and other restaurants in the area. These ladies do a great job with the desserts and other things. We're here at 6:30, and then small group afterwards. Carrie Freeman. She folks on. If you don't know who that is, good. She's on Facebook. Google her. She's. I watched this kid grow up. And I'm gonna get on my. I'll be here next week. I gotta move some stuff around, but I'll be here. But she'll be here next week to talk about what it means to give and what it looks like. Again, Carrie's. I told Roger the story a number of times, but I watched that kid grow up, and when she was in her, I guess, in the worst state of her addiction, ran into her mom out of town one day, and I asked how things were going, and she said, "We need to pray for Carrie right now." We stopped in the middle of the street and just prayed right there, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. But you come back with us next week. God bless y'all, and we'll see you.